today would be preparing for nominations, would be having all the flag bearers for all positions from LC1 to the President of Uganda, and all the NRM structures would be filled. But because of the challenges that we encountered at Kololo during the elective delegates conference, some of the elections were suspended. And now this created a backlog for us, and we cannot move forward with an incomplete process, because otherwise, if we did, we wouldn't have flag bearers for the position of member of parliament, for the young people, for the youth, and we wouldn't have the Secretary Executive Committee would not be fully constituted, because even when it sat the other day, there are some areas which are still yet to be filled. And then secondly, the entire structure of NRM would not be fully constituted. So the Central Executive Committee meeting, in their inaugural meeting, one of the first things they dealt with is clearing the backlog so that we have flag bearers ready, and we also have all the structures of the administration of NRM in place. Why? Because soon after this, we are going for nominations and campaigns. And a decision was taken that in order to build the party, now the processes are going to be run by the members of the party, most especially those who are in leadership positions. So if you have the young people, they don't have a leader. At that time, we didn't have the leader for the entrepreneurs and their committee members. Then it would affect our structure of administration.
So you're acting out of a stalemate and in haste?
Not in haste, but we are trying to remedy what didn't go right, because that's public information. Everybody knows there was a stalemate at Kololo because of the emerging issues, but it's the responsibility of the party, one, to put right, but also to not repeat the same issues which even went up to the tribunal. You know, in the tribunal, members complained about many things, including the non-verification of the registers, that there could have been more delegates than those who were invited, that the counting was not very clear, and that the conflict of interest, because one of the candidates is a son to Dr. Tango Doi, who is the chairman of the Electoral Commission, and who is accused of making the declaration of his son. So the tribunal considered all this, and the tribunal made recommendations. Now, in addition to recommendations of the tribunal, in the wisdom of the Central Executive Committee, they chose to say no. Wherever we hold elections will have implications, but where can we have them with better transparency, cheaper organization, but also proximity is better when the people...
So NRM is doing knee-jerk fixing?
No, we are trying to put a situation that went wrong right. And that's what leaders do. It's not knee-jerk, it's not our process, it's not the way we do it, but...
No, this is unprecedented. By the decision to hold elections at district levels, yet you know districts are problematic.
We have had elections at the district before, Bwana Simon. During the COVID elections, we held the SEC elections at the district level. And it was a hybrid between it was open voting, where people went and because they couldn't congregate together, they wrote their names at the district level. The results were collected, and tallying took place at Plot 13, Chadondo Road, like it's going to be this time. So it's not unprecedented. It's something that has happened before, only that this is the first time this is going to happen for the youth, and also using lining as the method of voting.
Okay. The candidates themselves for the Youth League have voiced their protests, their dissatisfaction with the decision. Could there be a possibility of revoking it?
This was the decision of the Central Executive Committee. I speak for the party and for the formal organs and the decisions that they have taken. Until that revocation takes place, The only position that we have as a party is that the elections are going to take place on the 18th and is going to take place at the district headquarters.
So strategically speaking, the party leadership cannot advise on what is better. Your hands are tied. When SEC decides, it's sealed.
SEC, that's their duty. You know, Central Executive Committee is the organ of the party with delegated authority to run the day-to-day affairs of the party should need arise. You cannot convene a delegates conference again. You cannot convene a national...
Yeah, but the Secretariat is the implementer. And the Secretariat must have an input in the decisions of SEC. Are you just conveyors?
The Secretariat does the preparations and the paperwork, and at strategic level, the Secretary General is a member of the Central Executive Committee. He provides the advice, but also including the chairman of the Electoral Commission is a member of the Central Executive Committee. But at strategic level, the decisions are decided after taking full consideration of the affairs that affect the party, the implications they will have the party, and the reputation and the image of the party. You know, NRM is a brand. And with NRM is a brand...
What kind of brand is NRM? In the wake of the Messi Kololo affair?
No, but when the Messi Kololo affair, when the young people made their petition, they were listened to. That's a good brand. Everybody would want to be associated with that. When you want to determine leadership, you use democracy. That would be a good brand.
Do you want to associate with a chaotic brand?
No.
Look at that.
That was an incident. That was an incident. So when an incident comes, what do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? This is how the brand deals with it. That now let's go to the districts, because...
It has come to define NRM.
You can see the level of organization. You can see the
fake candidates. Rather, not fake delegates, fake delegates. We're talking fake delegates. We're talking money. We're talking violence.
There are things that have cropped up within the party, and even the party leadership has taken concern. One of them is the use of money, because you know NRM was built by volunteers. The people who gathered in the bushes in Luwero, they didn't go to look for allowances. They didn't go to look for money. Many of them remained there. Their skeletons perhaps were never even seen. So that is the foundation of the party, and the leadership of the party has openly raised these issues in all forums to say we must go back to our former methods of work. That is true. Also fraud. Some of the individuals are fraudulent, because when you look at the primaries that have been conducted, one of the major areas has been the accusation of the registrars that they interfered with the transmission of results and the counting of the votes and the way the manners were done. The other one was the alteration of the declaration forms. It's an issue that has come up and was in the tribunal. But when those things happen, what do? You put up a remedy through a process, a due process, to listen to the process, make a decision by an independent arbiter, and once the decision is made, then what remains becomes political. And that is what the party is doing right now.
One of the most fundamental decisions that are contained in the resolution is the exclusion of Tanga or Doi from being at the helm of these elections. Isn't that an indictment on one of your own?
No, but that would be by even common sense. It didn't even require the decision of the tribunal. Ordinarily, even the courts of law, where somebody feels that the presiding officer may be biased because of the natural circumstances or because of a previous history, somebody can recuse himself at a personal level, or a decision may be taken to the matter to be presided over by somebody. But now, to have a whole chairman of the Electoral Commission being set aside by an internal process, then you can be admiring how democratic NRM is. That is how fair
I think that's quite embarrassing. That's a big indictment on the office of Tanga or Doi and the person.
Even in medicine, no doctor is allowed to operate on a wife on a child when they are sick. These are common sense.
So this actually qualifies the concerns that Rebecca Kadaga herself had some time back when she raised a red flag on Tango Doi. She said he's not an impartial arbiter.
She did not provide evidence. Because this time a decision was taken because evidence is available.
Yeah, but in the first place,
that his son is contesting.
Yeah, but in the first place, you knew his son was contesting.
Ordinarily, we expect
when he muddled up the first election.
We don't want to say that he muddled up, but ordinarily he should have, and he had promised, because Dr. Tanga convened, the Secretary General convened a meeting at Plot 13, in which Dr. Tanga made a public declaration. And he said, me, I'm chairman electoral commission, but we are many commissioners. But because of the heat of the process that was in Kololo, I think it required the presence of the chairman himself to come and make some decisions. But now that the decision has been taken to exclude Dr. Tanga and have the delegates elect where they are known, so all the accusations which were made in the previous petition do not hold water now, because people will vote from the districts where they are. We have senior leaders of the party who will be there in the presence. The counting, if Dr. Tanga was using AI to count, or like it was alleged in the social media, this time Dr. Tanga will not be there. Even the commissioners who are going to preside over and supervise the elections, there are only about 7, but we have 151 districts. So we are going to rely on the officials of the party, the leaders who have been elected, and also the district police commanders are going to oversee the process by providing security.
And the RDCs?
And the RDCs, they are going to be present. They will be present.
I think that is already a messy affair, Abinisho. You've seen the role of RDCs in the messing up party primaries at the grassroots. Before you remedy this, before the ink dries or the dust settles about the mess that was engineered by RDCs, you're employing them again.
The RDCs, the mistake that happened during the primaries is that they were supposed to be eyes on, hands off, and then they do a report for us. Unfortunately, some RDCs chose to have their hands on. This exercise...
And it's inevitable, again this time.
This time, they know that they are going to be hands off, and they must provide a report. At that time, the elections were so dispersed at village level. There were no senior people to superintend over the security process.